and our PP is 18th at 18.6%. We're 21st for goals 5-on-5, and we're 24th in the league for goals against. A little bit of a pessimistic tone.
Yeah, just reading the stats as is.
Yeah.
It sounds about right. I mean, I don't know. No comment.
Well, I think what he's getting at here is statistically in these sort of major categories we're below average.
Yeah.
And it's maybe a cause for concern. I don't know if you have anything to sort of, why are we giving up so many goals even though our goaltending's been good? Or why is our power play struggling?
I don't know. Power play, yeah. I guess it'd have to come down to lack of effort.
Lack of execution.
Yes. Lack of finish. Maybe all three.
Yeah. Let's go to the next comment then. Ironborn Vigilance wrote, just a good old-fashioned, lazy, undisciplined team who can't score. Heads will roll if they don't figure it out soon.
Yeah, there we go. There's definitely a bit of laziness in there. Shit, undisciplined. I mean, that's kind of tough to say.
Well, they've taken the most penalties in the league.
Yeah, but like, watching the game, do you feel it's been undisciplined playing? Sam Bennett is an undisciplined player, but you wouldn't say that with the whole team.
No, well, a lot of stick penalties.
Yeah.
So I would say a bit undisciplined. They have played the most games in the league too, which maybe adds to the stats. But I don't know about heads will roll if they don't figure it out soon. That might be a bit rich. But they definitely... They feel sometimes overconfident.
You have up who else? No. San Jose's leading the league with penalty minutes.
Okay, it might have changed since
I got
this
the
comment.
stats. New York's behind them by a long shot. Calgary's third at 205.
No, not most penalty minutes, most penalties.
So fighting majors.
Yeah, so that basically means more. Calgary's taking more minors.
Yes, okay. Islanders, or sorry, it's Rangers. Never mind.
Yeah. But, these are interesting stats to kind of show maybe why Calgary hasn't been as consistent as we hoped.
Yeah, but so you think Washington, you feel they're undisciplined?
I haven't watched them enough to really comment, but...
I don't know.
I guess
they get the penalties, but just watching the play, it doesn't feel like it's undisciplined.
But if you're a big, heavy team and you take a lot of penalties, that makes more sense than being what we call like a speed team and taking a lot of penalties.
True.
Because if you take a penalty because you hit some guy into the boards and get too aggressive, that has some impact on the game because that player who got hit is now going to keep his head up. Where if you take a penalty for tripping...
Whack on the hands.
Yeah, to me that doesn't deter anyone if you get a penalty for it, or if you trip a guy, or if you interfere with a guy.
It's hurting them. I'll definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And especially against, I think it was St. Louis scored 2 of the 3 goals on power play.
Well, the OT winner was because Brody took a penalty.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go now to the next comment. Lemon Victor. He wrote, Johnny needs to be benched and Backlund needs to spend the whole next practice firing at an empty net. I feel for Talbot and Rittich. They are playing so well with our quote-unquote star players, minus Chucky and Lindholm, flail around like Timbit players. So he's not happy.
It's good. He brings up, I'd say he's hitting on the issues, but with maybe a little too much zeal.
Yeah, he's direct.
Yeah.
But I think I see his point. Like, Kachuk's had a good season. Lindholm's had a good season. But Monahan and Goudreau, by their standard, has not been that good.
Gio is no longer driving the team as hard as he was before. I say he was at the beginning of the season. Like, he's slowed down, say, in the past 10 games. So a chance there that, if he can, it could be up to him to pick up his team. He does it by example with just dominant plays, and that hasn't been coming from him either.
I did think he was better against Dallas, though. A little more noticeable.
That's true, man. He was participating in power play a lot better. He also set up Monhang? No, sorry. He set up Hamonic for his goal in St. Louis.
Yeah. And against Dallas, he hit the crossbar with that shot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he almost scored one.
In the bar.
One more comment from the message board. Chronix wrote, "Yikes. Don't like our chances on the desert trip if this is how we're going to play. Arizona and Vegas are much scarier than Dallas is."
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say they're much scarier, but I'd say they're equal.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
And the rest of November I think they'll be playing against kind of middle of the ice teams.
Yeah,
and these are the ones where you want to, send a message or show that you're a strong team to play against.
And you need to get points. If you're going to make the playoffs, you need to get some points.
Definitely. None of these overtime loss points either. We're talking straight W's. regular time W's.
Yeah, you need some W's mixed in there.
Yeah.
You can definitely do well picking up overtime points, but it can't be, you need more than 1 out of 4.
I'll tell you what, they need to get on a win streak. We still haven't won more than 2 in a row yet.
Yeah. And there was a stat they showed on Sportsnet during the game that through 20 games, Calgary has the same points in the standings as they did last year.
Yeah, but do you remember last year, man? There was some streaks going on. There was losing streaks, but then winning streaks. And it felt like we were just more jazzed up about it.
Well, our expectation was lower.
Yeah.
Because I remember once they started winning, people were so surprised how good the Flames were.
Yeah. But I remember being more jazzed up about the play. And now, after these last 2 games, coming out of it, I just feel like, they were played. They weren't played poorly. They weren't played well. They were just played. And not much to say on that.
And it brings me to one of my points is, like, Johnny and Monahan. Are these guys you can actually win with? And I'm not talking about win games.
How can you ask that?
Not win games. I mean win playoff series.
I think so. They have before.
They beat Vancouver once, and Vancouver was a weak team.
In the playoffs?
In the playoffs. That's the only playoff series they won.
Yeah, Anaheim's shutting them down too many times.
And Colorado last year dominated them.
I don't know. Playoffs are a different beast. And this is the duality or the catch is you gotta win the regular season to make the playoffs.
I'm just starting to think maybe Johnny Gaudreau is more of a Phil Kessel. He can't be your primary point if you want to win. He has to be a second or third sort of offensive point. Because Kessel shined when he was behind Crosby and Malkin.
He also shined in the playoffs.
He did, but because he was behind Crosby and Malkin.
Gaudreau's not behind anybody. He's leading. You're calling him out on if he can lead a team in playoffs?
Exactly. I'm saying that if you're going to have success with Gaudreau, he can't be your number one player you're relying on. You've got to have some star power in front of him. That's what I'm wondering. Is he a Phil Kessel type? He can get you 80, 90 points, but you need that someone big and dominant to kind of play on the top line.
Well, pretty much everyone else on the Flames roster is bigger. So.
Well, okay. Yes, in size, but you get my point here.
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, this year might will definitely give us more insight into what they're capable of, but yeah. I think he's still got the skill to lead the team, set up plays, make plays. And once we start seeing that again, it will kind of change the viewpoints.
Yeah, there is recency bias, of course. But if I go back to the playoffs last year, what I seen in those playoffs and what I seen when he plays the big heavy teams like St. Louis and Dallas, I do not feel like he is that player who can perform when the games get really tough.
What was brought up is that he's not getting penalty calls against him like he was last year, and I definitely remember that. He was drawing tons of penalties last year, and now the refs seem to have kind of put their whistles away on infractions against him. Have you noticed that?
I haven't actually, but I think he drew 2 penalties against Dallas.
Yeah, there he was getting some calls against him.
But he does complain a lot to the refs, so you wonder if maybe... And also, when he does get tripped or something, he goes down like he got sniped from the stands.
Yeah, so he went down pretty hard in Dallas, I think. Stayed on the ice for a bit.
So maybe some refs have... they don't want to be embarrassed, so they see him go down and kind of don't give him the call.
Yeah. But the way I see it, there are worse players to build your team around than Gaudreau.
Yeah. But it's not about if there's worse players. It's, do you have the right player to win a championship?
And the question is, if you don't, what do you do about it?
You've got to move. Look at the Toronto Raptors. They banged their head against the wall for so many years in the playoffs, and they had 2 good players. And then they made the trade for Kawhi. They got like that elite talent, and they won a championship. And I'm wondering if Calgary isn't that sort of same situation, where you have good players, you can make the playoffs every year, but they're not going to get you past the first round.
Who does Kawhi play for now?
He went to the Clippers.
So 1 year with Toronto?
Would you take 1 Stanley Cup? That's what I thought. Okay. Are you ready to do some verses?
Let's do it.
Versus.
Okay, so in this segment, we pit 2 things against each other, and then we debate who will win in the verses.
As they square off, head to head, fist to fist.
So the first
knee to groin.
The first one is, who will get more points this season? We have Lindholm
Versus.
Matthew Tkachuk.
Okay. And his points that you ask?
Points, yes.
All right, then I'll say Lindholm for sure.
You think he'll get more overall points?
Overall points. Assuming he plays on the line with Gaudreau on one hand still.
Make no assumptions.
No, because of that fact, he has more of a chance. And another question would be more goals. And that I think it could be even tighter race. I think both of them are shooting well. See, where a lot of the Flames are struggling with getting the puck in the net, these 2 seem to be the one putting their shots on point the most. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. Right now in the season, they're the best shooters.
Yeah.
But I really feel like if you look over career-wise, Tkachuk has just consistently put points on the board where Lindholm gets streaky.
Okay.
And because of that, I'm actually going to say that Tkachuk will get more points.
Who got more points last year? Do you remember?
I do not remember. That's a good question, but that was a career year for Lindholm.
Yeah, and Tkachuk as well.
We got to check that.
It had to be. It was Tkachuk's 3rd year. It had to be a bit his best.
Yeah, I think Tkachuk had more points in the end.
Yeah.
And Lindholm played with the top line.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, he's going to get more points again this year.
No, but Tkachuk got more points.
No, Lindholm got more points.
Okay, we got to check this. So I have the stats open here. Are you ready for this, Dan? Lindholm had 78 points last season.
Mm-hmm.
Tkachuk, 77.
Goals?
Let me see here. Goals, 27 for Lindholm, 34 for Tkachuk.
Oh, yeah. Okay, beat him in the goals.
So this is going to be a tight race, I think.
Yeah, it's good verses.
A very good versus. Yeah, let's go for the next one.
Next one.